Today is January 4th, which means that we are 4 days into the new year, and people are still on their New Year's resolutions. Maybe you've already done your vision board or you're about to do your vision board and you're looking at it every day. You are excited about the fresh start. You've made really big promises to yourself. And here's what I want to offer you. Not a new goal, not a better plan, but a different way to think about why you're setting goals in the first place. Because I think when I started to understand this, it really changed my life. And they say that by the second Friday of January, most people abandon their New Year's resolutions, which I think is actually fine if you understand what I'm about to explain in a second. Because I think it's important to know exactly what to look at instead of, oh, am I abandoning this goal that I made, right? Most New Year's goals fail because of a number of different reasons, but it's not because people are lazy or not committed. It probably fails because most of us never really understood the point of the goal. So I want to unpack that in this video. And if anything I've said so far made you pause, I just want you to stay with me for a few minutes because this might change how you set goals for the rest of your life. There's a point every year when the energy shifts, the gym empties, the habits get inconsistent, the planner starts collecting dust, okay? And people tell themselves, I guess I just didn't want it badly enough. Or you find a number of reasons why you're busy, why you're this, why you're that. And quite frankly, I don't buy any of it. I don't. I think a lot of goals fall apart because when life pushes back, and the way the goal was structured doesn't really give you a framework to keep moving, it becomes easier to come up with those excuses because the why behind the goal was not fully fleshed out. So I just want to tell you a story that changed how I think about goals completely, how I changed the way I view my goals, and how that's really helped me achieve a ton of success. And for the folks who I coach and all my friends, whoever listens to me, it's something that I share. So I just want to share that with you all as well. And I'll use this one concrete example. When I bought my house, I set a goal to pay it off in 5 years. And people had opinions. Some told me it was like not financially smart because, you should, if you have low interest debt, you should just kind of ride that and then invest in the stock market, which is higher returns. Opportunity costs, spreadsheets, all the things. And, people aren't wrong. And what's funny is that I'm gonna mess up his name, but there's like a very popular book called The Psychology of Money. I think it's Morgan Hustle or something of that nature. I'll put it in the description. But also in his book, he says like him and his wife paid off their house. And were they aware that that wasn't the most financially smart, quote unquote, thing to do? Yes, if you're only optimizing for, gains. But was it the thing that worked for them and their emotions and all that good stuff? Yes. Now, I bring up that book because I think it's a really good book to read if you are trying to navigate your own financial journey. But also, he made a point there that I was trying to make with the whole 5 year pay off my house thing. And a lot of people were missing the point because the goal was never really about the house. The house was just the constraint that like helped me with the goal that I wanted. Because a lot of goals are about your identity. They're not actually about the goal. They're about the identity of who you're becoming by succeeding and reaching that goal. And what I was actually asking myself and what I was challenging myself, the identity that I was leaning into was, who do I need to become to generate money at that level? Who do I need to be in order to pay off a house in 5 years? How do I advocate for myself so I can get paid more? I have to be someone who speaks up. How do I market myself better? I have to be someone who understands marketing, who understands sales. How do I train my brain to believe that I can create money, not just wait for it? Right. So this idea, I grew up with the idea of I worked so much. I've been working since I was 14 and I've had two jobs and I know how to hustle. I know how to work two, three jobs at the same time. And I did that when I paid off my $63,000 worth of student loan debt in 18 months. I know how to hustle, but the person I'm becoming, I want to be is a person who says, no, I don't need to work for several different people to make money. I can generate money from my own ideas, not just making someone else's ideas come true in a very specific way, which is like, W-2, etc. So that is what I meant when I said I want to pay off the house in 5 years. Whether I actually paid off that house in 5 years or not doesn't matter. And that is why now I've changed the goal and I'm perfectly fine with it. The people who closest to me are perfectly fine with it because I don't see me changing the goal as a failure. Because the point of the goal was to become the person I just described above. And by working the past year to do that, I am better off from it. And I still have a lot more to learn and grow to fulfill that identity. But because I've built in that muscle, once I learn new things about myself, my life, what I wanted, I'm all about optimizing your life to make your quality of life good. So once I learned different things about myself and I said, you know what? At some point I thought paying off this house in 5 years would give me the most peace of mind because then I just own this piece of property, this land. But I want to live a bicontinental life. So maybe this money, this skill that I was learning from the identity I wanted to be to pay off this 5 years is better suited to put that money elsewhere. So the goal is no longer pay off the house in 5 years, but the identity that was formed, the muscle that was formed in making money, in asking for more money, in believing in myself is going to help me achieve this next goal. So the identity is still the same. The name of the goal might change, but the identity is still the same. Right? So I just want to stress that because most goals are not outcome goals. They are, again, identity experiments. So, for example, a lot of people want to get more fit in the new year. So they want to go to the gym. If your goal is, I want to go to the gym every day so I can be buff or whatever the goal might be, that goal is a fragile goal. Because the deeper goal is, I want to be fit enough so I can walk with my friends without losing my breath, so I can chase my kids around, so I can go swimming when I go on vacation, whatever the thing might be. If it's health, if it's mental wellness, whatever the case might be, that is the true goal. So when you maybe change the goal of let me go to the gym every single day, and it becomes, you know what, actually, I walked an hour today. I went stretching, I went to yoga, I went to Pilates. All of those still fit the goal, even if you did not go to the gym and lift weights. So even though your initial goal was to go to the gym and lift weights, now that you found out, like, actually, what I like better is doing swimming and then playing golf. You are still achieving your goal of moving your body. And that the identity of someone who's active, someone who takes care of themselves, that has been achieved. So therefore, as far as I'm concerned, you've achieved your goal. Because if your goal dies the moment your routine changes, the goal was too small, the goal was too tight, and there was no why behind it. Another thing nobody really prepares us for is even when you hit the goal, that happiness is so brief, so brief. Like when I bought my house, I remember I think it was like a month later, my friend asked me something, and I was like, yeah, like, proud of myself, but like other things come up. And it doesn't mean that the goal that you achieve doesn't matter. It means that it did its job. The person I needed to be to save, to invest, to ask questions, to go house tours, to challenge contractors, to challenge inspection people, all that stuff. The person I needed to be to purchase the house, that person is within me now. And that is going to live within me for the rest of my life and in so many other things that I do. This is a bit of a tangent. We're already at 9 minutes. I'll keep it short. But I'm currently in Ghana at my mom's house, and it was a plumbing issue. And previous me would just call the plumber and then let them fix it. And then while they're fixing it, I will be doing whatever I was doing. But this time when the plumber came, I actually was asking questions. What went wrong? How can we not have this problem again? So now I have a muscle where I'm comfortable asking questions. And whether the plumber thinks I'm dumb or not is really not my concern. My concern is that am I comfortable enough to ask the questions I need to know to make sure that my house is good? And that skill is going to live with me forever, even though the joy of buying the house was not as long lived. And this is the same thing with when you get a promotion, when you get a new job, etc. In that moment, there's a lot of happiness. And I think it's really important to take time to celebrate those just because of how fleeting they can be when the rest of life happens. Because what you're celebrating is like the accomplishments of that goal, yes, but you're also celebrating the person you had to become. in order to achieve that goal. So again, if your goal is to go to the gym every day, and maybe at some point you realize, hey, I actually don't want to go to the gym every day, but you play tennis every day, you go walking every day, you do yoga every day, you have achieved your goal. And I think you need to celebrate yourself for that new identity that you've unlocked within yourself. So celebrate on purpose, document it, let yourself be proud on the record, because life moves on quickly. But also, it just reminds you when you celebrate and you document it, whenever that memory comes back up, if you're in a season of your life where you're doubting yourself because of another goal that you set, you can remind yourself, like, hey, actually, I did this before and I got this. So, when you hit the moment this year when the motivation dips, when you realize you haven't done the thing that in the way that you imagine, I hope that you don't shame yourself. I I hope that you ask yourself, what was this goal trying to teach me, or who was I trying to become? What type of thinker was I becoming? What type of doer was I becoming? What capabilities did I want to build, or was I building, even if the outcome shifted? Because the goal isn't the asset. You are the goal. The person you are for the rest of your life because you mastered this thing, that's tenfold. So, if this way of thinking resonates, and if you're interested in identity led thinking that creates more optionality for your life, please hit the subscribe button. This channel is about learning how to think in ways that keep paying you back across money, career, decisions, life, relationships, all of it. And if you want to apply this kind of thinking to your specific situation, your goals, your career, your next move, you can book a priority call. I'll leave the link in the description. And that's where we get contextual. That's where we unpack what actually matters to you and your goals. Until then, focus on the road long enough to reach the destination. Just don't confuse the destination for the point, because let's not miss the point. Let's not miss the plot. Okay, I'm done. I'll see you tomorrow.